You don't want to see it?
Absolutely.
I personally choose to always believe the women in this circumstance.
But how can you, as a woman, how can you say that just because we're women, we should always be believed?
An Edmonton cab driver is suing 4 female passengers for accusations they made against him. The girls tried to accuse the man of sexual assault, a move he says could have ruined his life. Scott Frolick has more.
Soner Yesa actually had the camera hanging from his rearview mirror in his cab, had signs around the cab saying, "You are on camera, I am recording." Despite that, when the girls got into the cab outside a local bar, they started to want to smoke, which is illegal. Soner pointed that out and said, "You cannot light up, it'll be a $500 fine." There was some swear words thrown around. At that point, he got to the destination the girls wanted. It was a $13 fare. The girls said, "We're not going to pay." He threatened to call the police. That's when the girls said to the bystanders nearby that the cab driver had tried to assault them. They called police. But I want you to listen and watch the girls inside the cab. You can see some of the videotape for yourself. Here it is.
No, you. I'm not paying for you.
Now, after the police arrived at the scene, they talked with everybody involved, and that's when the cab driver said, "I've got tape of this incident. Come take a look." The police did. They looked at the tape, they reviewed the tape, and they said there would be no charges. They had no evidence of any kind of assault, sexual or otherwise here.
I personally choose to always believe the women.
There would be no charges. They had no evidence of any kind of assault, sexual or otherwise here. There are no charges. But that's when Soner Yesa said, "Well, what about my reputation? Had I not had this tape," he told me, "I would have been probably charged. I would have lost my marriage. I could have lost and would have lost my job just based on the charges, no matter what happened after that." So he wanted the girls charged. Police decided, though, to close down the case, saying there wasn't enough evidence either way. So now he's looking for a civil remedy, and he is looking for $60,000 in damages from those girls.
That, though, I mean, there was the discouragement to come forward, but now we're at a point where it seems like people feel comfortable going forward. And didn't we kind of see this coming when people started saying you have to believe the women no matter what? I mean, a red light went off in a lot of people's minds where you said, wait a second, it doesn't make sense to believe any group of people no matter what they say based on the group that they are. Maybe you listen to them and you go look into it and you show them respect, but you don't automatically decide they're right. I think she has been listened to.
If it's not true, we need to know now, and we need to stop the progression of this whole thing from getting worse, because it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
And only on 7 News, this police interview with a Fort Collins woman. She was later convicted for making phony rape accusations, and the man she accused was arrested and put in jail 1 year ago today. Well, tonight,
I personally choose to always believe the women.
That I've been given do not match evidence.
This is exclusive video of her police interview. As Toth sat in jail, her story fell apart.
I'm not telling you to drop charges. I want to know the facts about what happened.
Bennett, later convicted of making it all up. She was sentenced to 35 days in jail, then an ankle monitor and probation.
I personally choose to always believe the women.
Later convicted of making it all up. She was sentenced to 35 days in jail, then an ankle monitor and probation.
I don't feel that's justice.
Toth says he's the one who's been punished. The Army National Guardsman lost his civilian job and was out of work for nearly 6 months after the arrest.
I've been behind on my car payment ever since.
He has his friends, but the emotional pain is still there.
I feel like I'm incapable to actually trust a woman again.
He says it's telling his story that's helping him heal.
Giving me the opportunity to share it gives me the opportunity to clear my name, because I still feel like my name is not cleared.
Lindsay Watt, 7 News.
Courier is demanding an apology after he was wrongfully accused in the attack. News Center 5's Rondella Richardson tells us why it's up to him if he wants his name removed from documents linking him to that case.
This could have been prevented.
The 26-year-old tax accountant wrongfully accused would have to go to court to have charges expunged from his record, as Ross Courier is still waiting for a formal apology from law enforcement. He's fighting for his reputation. Police arrested him last month for a sexual assault in the North End within minutes after the victim mistakenly told police he was her attacker.
I personally choose to always believe the women.
His attorney says he wasn't questioned and went right to jail.
We got them down there in short order, and the suspect was taken into custody.
Today, police won't comment on apologizing, only saying for the district attorney to drop the charges speaks for itself.
I have a professional license to practice in my industry. That was almost taken from me at 26. Don't you consider that a bit of a death sentence?
Yet his name is far from clear.
Google it, see what you find.
Well, I never gave her the benefit of the doubt. If you looked at the evidence in its totality, it was clear from very early on in this case that this was indeed a bogus case. And Jane, I think both you and I can agree that all the charges should be dropped. This is absolutely unbelievable. On the night in question, just that night alone, she had several different versions of events. In one version of events that night, she claimed she was only groped and not even raped. She changed the number of attackers. In the photo lineup, she identified different people. She identified one of the people as having a mustache who didn't even have a mustache. This whole case has been wrought with irregularities and nonsense and deceptions. Mike Nifong keeping exculpatory evidence away from the defense. You're talking about a guy that did 70 press interviews, used it to get reelected. There was never any real evidence against these players. The DNA didn't match on any count in any way, in any capacity this entire time. You have absolutely no reason to believe these players committed this crime. One of the players has a solid alibi during the time the crime was supposed to have occurred. You've got all of this stuff. I cannot think of one case of equivalent or near profile in the United States of America where there's been so little reason for three people or one person or anybody to be brought to trial. This is insanity. And I'll say this, the one person, again, who without question has behaved in an unethical, immoral, and sinister fashion is District Attorney Mike Nifong. He's pursued a case not because of the evidence, but in spite of the evidence.
Actions. It's the men in this country, and I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up. Do the right thing.
I am your voice.